Hey everybody, welcome to the Canary Cry News Talk live stream. If you're tuning in now, I want to say welcome to everybody on the Face Like the Sun YouTube, the Canary Cry Radio YouTube, Facebook all over the place, Periscope over on Gonza's Twitter account there, and what else? We got D-Live now. We had some requests for D-Live, so we are now live on D-Live. So welcome everybody. I do want to say this, you've heard me say it before, we are trying to get our average viewers up over on Twitch to unlock some tools to help Gonz and I support ourselves. So if you are watching anywhere but Twitch, I want to compel you to head over to twitch.tv/CanaryCryRadio, sign up, log in, and watch live on Twitch. We got to get our average viewers up to 75, and you can be one of them. I'll be giving out shout-outs during the show, but until then, make sure to tune in. Here we go.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is April 6th, 2020, episode 194, and this week, Mutant Virus for the Zoo People. And I am your essential employee, Basil.
And this is Gonz. Welcome to another live stream. We're live on YouTube, Face Like the Sun, Canary Cry Radio YouTube, Facebook, Canary Cry Community, Facebook, Canary Cry Radio, D-Live Twitch. And what am I missing? That's it, I think.
I think you did it. But I also want to give a shout out to the OG listeners of Canary Cry Radio and Canary Cry News Talk, and that is the podcast listeners listening on iTunes and Spotify and all over the place. We haven't forgotten you guys. You still tune in on the podcast feed, and just so everybody knows, we got thousands of hours of shows on the RSS feeds. Go to your podcatcher, whether it's Spotify or iTunes, Stitcher, whatever it is, search Canary Cry Radio and Canary Cry News Talk. It's never ending, folks, I'm telling you.
Apparently you said April 6th. It's May 6th, Basil. Your time traveling is caught up to you.
I know, you know, I've lost complete reference points to current timing and dating. I think it's Wednesday, and yes, thanks for the correction. Thanks, gotta love the people in chat keeping us honest.
That's kind of the beauty of the chat, is they'll just correct you right on the spot, so I can't get away with anything, which is good. That's a good thing.
That's good. Stepping it up.
Yeah.
Well, Gonz, anything you want to go over before we jump right in?
I think there's a little bit of a laggy thing going on again, but we're just going to plow through. Also, it's super hot where I am, and so if there ever was a virus, it's probably burned through all of it, and also people's skin.
Yeah.
If you're outside.
Well, good. You can go out, get your tan on, Gonz.
I know.
Gotta have that healthy glow for the live stream.
Oh yeah. I'll get that golden look back of my youth.
Yeah. Well, Gonz, let's start out the show. We're gonna skip the Flippy update today. We're gonna go straight to the food update, baby.
Now you are cooking.
Can I get 2 hamburgers?
Yes, sir.
With French fries?
Yes, sir.
What about an omelet?
Sure. Got a couple eggs.
I like food. Food is good. I like food. Food is good. You can't take the crisp.
Crisper.
You can't take the crisp.
Cas9.
That's right. A double update today. We're talking, as I've said on past shows, I'm keeping an eye on the food supply chain. That's one place where complete control is starting to poke its head up a little bit. But we also spend a lot of time, Gonz, paying attention to biology, gene editing, GMO type stuff, keeping an eye on the ultimate code for life, DNA, and how scientists are tinkering with it, both to improve our own lives as well as make the food tastier. Today I am reading from geneticliteracyproject.org, and the headline is COVID-19, climate change may accelerate public acceptance of CRISPR-edited food.
Of course.
Oh man, the burpy hiccups are popping in early this show.
Speaking of food, your lunch seems to be
okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
It always wants to come back during the show. Here we go. The article reads, gene editing, like genetic modification, is a technology that has attracted a fair amount of skepticism from European regulators and citizens. However, proponents argue that it will be an invaluable tool in the construction of a future fit food system. Food Navigator speaks to Dr. Oliver Peoples, CEO of Yield 10 Bioscience, about changing attitudes to the science.
I love the
Yield
doctors'
10
names.
Bioscience.
Sorry, I just got to. We always, they always have, the doctors are always interesting with the names, but Dr. Peoples? Is that is that even real? Have you ever heard the last name Peoples?
The everyman's doctor, Dr. Peoples.
I've just never heard.
Are you a Peoples? He's the doctor for you.
All right, go on. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
All right, Gon's always got to make fun of somebody's name.
I'm not making
around
fun.
Here.
I've never heard
you're
of
not allowed
anybody
to do that anymore.
Oh, people make fun of my name, so.
Here we go. Yield 10 Bioscience develops new technologies to increase crop yield in support of a more sustainable food system. Dr. Peoples also suggested that attitudes toward the use of science in food are being shaped by external events. Quote, for millennials, climate change and sustainability are their key decision drivers, and they are more open to technology in general. Many are not vested in the anti-GMO falsehoods which sustained the entire careers of anti-GMO activists before evolving into a negative marketing tool. We're living in a time where consumer decisions are driven by their social, economic, environmental, and health interests. What has food decisions ever been driven by besides social, economic, environmental, and health reasons? What is the other...
Hunger?
What? Cheesiness? How much cheese sauce is on that? A lot of my food decisions are based on the cheesiness factor.
I'm sure.
All right, continuing. The current coronavirus crisis, the first global pandemic since 1918 Spanish flu, has led to people feeling, quote, threatened physically and economically by the COVID-19 virus. This, too, is making people more open to science-based solutions. So there you go, Gons. They're thinking that because of COVID-19, people are going to drop all this anti-GMO nonsense, just get those Frankenstein bananas and pass them out because all the millennials are ready to gobble them up for social, economic, and environmental and health reasons.
Well, the part that really is just so ridiculous to me is millennials, which you and I are both millennials. Climate change and sustainability are their key decision drivers. Really? I mean,
I don't know if that's true.
I don't think that's true. Yeah, maybe a few years ago.
We're in this situation where elder generations, the ones above millennials, are getting us mixed up with Gen Z. And that's something, if you're over there and you're older than a millennial, keep in mind, millennials are not the ones... we're not the key generation anymore. Gen Zers are the ones who did not have to go through a conversion.
Generation Greta.
Yes, Gen G.
Gen G.
These Gen Zers were brought up in the eco-minded sort of social justice things. Millennials, we were only adopted by it. Gen Zers were raised in it.
I think a lot of millennials are very skeptical of climate change, and that word sustainability obviously comes from the UN Agenda 2030 Sustainable Development thing, and I don't know. I mean, Dr. Peoples seems to be towing the line of the UN agenda there, and just sort of projecting it.
We can change his name to. We can change Dr. Peoples to how I learned to spell people, which is Piopoly. Dr. Piopolis.
Maybe that is. What if he corrects people all the time? It's
Not
Peoples.
peoples. It's Peoples.
Maybe it is a Greek name or something. Anyway,
It
okay.
sounds like it. Yeah. Anyway, so there you go.
More excuses.
Thanks to COVID-19, which falls right into the agenda that everybody has been suspecting is behind the COVID crisis, is a conversion over to these. I would say not even a conversion, a surrendering over to
Yeah.
certain agendas, including genetically modified food, which in the past has raised questions. No longer shall we question the scientists.
Yep. And speaking of the
Yep.
COVID,
Okay.
this is the Los Angeles Times. I knew this was going to happen. Scientists say a now dominant strain of the coronavirus could be more contagious than the original. Just as things are opening up, Basil, the more dominant strain is unleashed.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Scientists have identified a new strain of the coronavirus that has become dominant worldwide and appears to be more contagious than the version that spread in the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic, according to a new study led by scientists at Los Alamos National Laboratory. Interesting. The new strain appeared in February in Europe, migrated quickly to the east coast of the U.S., and has been the dominant strain across the world since mid-March, the scientists wrote. Okay, so it's not like brand new. It's already spread across the country. In addition to spreading faster, it may make people vulnerable to a second infection after after a first bout with the disease, the report warned. The 33-page report was posted Thursday on BioRxiv, a website that researchers use to share their work before it is peer-reviewed. Before peer review, an effort to speed up collaborations with scientists working on COVID-19 vaccines or treatments. The research has been largely based on the genetic sequence of earlier strains and might not be effective against the new one. Be very afraid, everybody. Be very afraid. Scientists with major organizations working on a vaccine or drugs to combat the coronavirus have told the Times that they are pinning their hopes on initial evidence that the virus is stable and not likely to mutate the way the influenza virus does, requiring a new vaccine every year. The Los Alamos report could upend that assumption. The mutation identified in the new report affects the now infamous spikes on the exterior of the coronavirus, which allow it to enter human respiratory cells. The report's authors say they felt an, quote, urgent need for an early warning so that vaccines and drugs under development around the world will be effective against the mutated strain. In many places, the new strain appeared. It quickly infected far more people than the earlier strains that came out of Wuhan, China, and within weeks, it was the only strain that was prevalent in some nations, according to the report. The new strain's dominance over its predecessors suggests that it is more infectious, according to the report, though exactly why is not yet known. And we get it. We don't have to read the rest of this here. It's more just dribble. Did you catch anything in there that you want to add from the rest of the article here?
I think the big thing is, we've known this, and there's a small part of me who, and look, I'm in a position where being told to stay in my house is not a problem for me.
You already kind of just stay in your house all day.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a homebody anyways, and this was a great reason to do that, and not having an excuse to not go out, that's all good. So when I heard that, states are opening up and things are happening, I'm very happy for people who that helps out, especially economically. A lot of our listeners are itching to get back to work, but I was like, I don't know, man, this doesn't feel right. And as we know, and, as we've talked about in the past, this is not going to go away. There's going to be I think there's going to be a yearly social distancing sort of season.
Yeah.
And as they've been preparing us for in all the mainstream news, they've been preparing us for another big spike. They're making no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And a new evolved version of coronavirus, that'll get that job done for them. So I don't think we're out of the woods quite yet. But, it's interesting that there would already be a mutated version. Now, of course, mutations in microorganisms like viruses and bacteria happen much faster. Now, I'm no pro, I'm no scientist, but this thing's only been around a month. So, that's a pretty fast
Second
mutating.
wave. Second wave.
Get ready for the second wave. Flatten those spikes.
It says here that one scientist called it a classic case of Darwinian evolution. So I'm waiting for the virus. I'm waiting for the virus to start evolving so quickly that it becomes just, these just entities that grow out of the goo and start chasing people down the street.
Gremlins that start running around.
Yeah. It's the
that'll
ooze.
Get people some nice. Yeah,
it's like the ooze from
Texas, who started opening up a couple days ago. If little coronavirus gremlins start running around, that's going to give Texas a nice round of target practice, I think.
That's true.
But no, this was expected, and it's especially expected to come out and to be pushed during this time where people are trying to get unlocked down.
Yeah.
So it's a pre explanation to at the end of the month when they say, no, everybody go back in your houses.
Yeah.
The gremlins are on the loose.
Yeah. I was actually out on the road today and got onto the freeway. And for the first time in a while, whatever. There was a traffic jam. I was like, oh, yeah, traffic. I forgot that there was traffic. It's been like months since we've actually I had to actually hit the brakes on the freeway. But there you go. Fear, everybody. Everybody be scared. New dominant strain coming after you. So,
that's right.
There you go.
Speaking of dominant strain, I want to go over to the Twitch real quick. And I want to thank Get Rectified, who just joined the Twitch channel from YouTube. Thanks for coming over, buddy. And for anybody out there who's on YouTube, in YouTube land, or wherever you are, head over to twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. Let's get that average up. For some reason, it's not giving me a live count of viewers, so I have no idea how many viewers are over there on Twitch. But let's keep it going, people. Let's jump up there.
Alexandra Massey, thanks for watching. I just did a little chat thing in there because we never get any messages on like Periscope. So somebody on Periscope, Twitter watching
that's
and
nice.
commenting. Very cool.
I want to give a couple shout outs to some new followers. Huh?
Go for it. Do it.
Here we go. New followers. DNT Bore Me. Thanks for joining the Twitch. YouTube Sucks. Thank you, YouTube Sucks, for coming over. We got Kylo Ren 1705.
Uh-oh.
Jawburn. Ev Cooper. EV Cooper. Kyle Sport or Keel Sport. What's up? What in the hillbilly heck? I'm loving this. This is one of the things, again, if you haven't heard me say it before, jumping over to twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio, making a new account on something is always fun because now you get to recreate yourself with a brand new username, which, is forcing me to say some things on air that I probably wouldn't in real life.
Yeah.
Just to thank a few more, we got Twitchy MP.
We got a lot of Twitchers.
I know. Prez 10 Gerard. Sherry Bruno 62. And one more for this round, Salty Saves. Thank you, guys.
Salty Saves.
What in the hillbilly heck is in the house? Okay, so there you go. If you guys want to shout out, head over to twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. Join the club, and I'll be saying hi to you as we go through the show.
Yep. We got a few more COVID stories here. I guess we can play the jingle again. COVID. We reported a tweet yesterday, but there's an actual story now.
Okay.
You want to do it? since I did the last one.
Here
Go
you
for
go.
it.
Yeah, Guns, you brought the tweet the other day, and here we have the actual official story coming in on Forbes.com. Israel announced a major coronavirus antibody breakthrough. Here's why that's reason to be optimistic. Claiming a major breakthrough in coronavirus research on Tuesday, researchers in Israel confirmed that they have made significant progress in isolating an antibody that could be used to treat those sickened by coronavirus. Although the antibody has not been tested on animals or humans, what has it been tested on? It appears to meet 3 key clinical components necessary for a viable treatment, giving hope that the development of a treatment could be shortened substantially. The research announced by the Israel Institute of Biological Research purports to meet 3 key parameters. First, the antibody is monoclonal, which means it specifically does not have harmful proteins that would otherwise make the antibody difficult to use. Second, the antibody is able to neutralize the coronavirus. Third, given the various mutations of the virus worldwide, which we just discussed, the Israeli antibody was specifically tested against the aggressive strain of the coronavirus.
There you go.
While there have been several breakthroughs in antibody research over the past few months, including a related finding by Dutch researchers at Utrecht University and Erasmus University in March, Israeli researchers claimed in a statement that, quote, as far as we know, according to comprehensive scientific publications from around the world, the Biological Research Institute is the first in the world to achieve this breakthrough in these 3 parameters at the same time. Ooh, triple threat. While the timeline for further development wasn't confirmed, the next steps in the antibody research will be to move from petri dish testing to animals and eventually humans, all which take a meaningful amount of time. Nonetheless, in a global race to find medical interventions for the deadly coronavirus, the Israeli announcement fuels optimism that progress can be made against the novel coronavirus at a rapid pace. Little typo there. The Biological Research Institute remains cautious of the timeline, however, acknowledging in this statement, this is an important milestone, but afterwards comes complicated tests and a process of getting regulatory approval. Per an assessment by the Institute's scientists, this technological breakthrough is poised to shorten the process, which will go on for several months. So there you go. Going back to this antibody thing, Guns, and not necessarily, again, the tweet the other day was not about a vaccine like we hear so much about, but actually about an antidote, a cure rather than a vaccine. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know.
A little low energy today, Guns. Are you not so excited?
No, not excited about virus anymore. I'm tired of it. But yeah, I guess that's good. It's just weird how they're like, hey, we got some, and then they're like, we haven't done it with animals or humans yet. Even though if there's a bunch of people dying, can't they just like try it on someone who's like severe case of coronavirus and just be,
which is what they've been doing with remdesivir and hydroxychloroquine, all sorts of things.
Yeah, so why not?
The FDA pushed through a fast process on remdesivir, which, of course, they wanted remdesivir to work and not hydroxychloroquine, because hydroxychloroquine is out of patent, so it is like $1 per pill or something. But remdesivir still under patent by who was it? Gilead. So,
Right.
It's like $1,000 a dose or something, because
maybe they don't want to speed the antibody thing too fast because, there's all sorts of other things they want to get done before they announce something that's going to be very effective or whatever.
And the reason why you would announce this without having done the full slew of tests is for fundraising.
More
if
money.
You tell people you're on the trail of a cure, you can get some money coming in, and because you got to pay for all those tests, Gons. Who's going to pay for all those tests?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you're right. Maybe this is just for money reasons. It's always money. Follow the money.
Money, money, money. Where's our money jingle?
And we had one more here.
You're on it today, buddy.
$100 billion.
I don't have any money.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, so there you go. We're yeah, and it says here at the end of the article, but just as much as the research institutions, Israeli's coronavirus advances are also boosted by a private sector that has a large number of entrepreneurial companies focused on life sciences, contributing to its reputation as startup nation. There you go. Israel, startup nation.
Yep, there you go. That's there you go.
Right.
All right.
What else you got?
That's enough. Heard the COVID thing too many times today. All right.
People love it, man.
I know. All right, fine.
Yeah.
COVID. This is onenewsnow.com. Fauci knew about HCQ in 2005. Nobody needed to die. This is a guest columnist here. You know, we try to not just do mainstream stuff and report on that because we put our little spin on that, but sometimes there's good articles that dig into a little more of the history. And it says here, Dr. Fauci, whose expert advice to President Trump has resulted in the complete shutdown of the greatest economic engine in world history, has known since 2005 that chloroquine is an effective inhibitor of coronavirus. How did he know this? Because of research done by the National Institute of Health, of which he is the director. In connection with the SARS outbreak caused by coronavirus dubbed SARS-CoV, the NIH researched chloroquine and concluded that it was effective at stopping the SARS coronavirus in its tracks. The COVID-19 bug is likewise a coronavirus labeled SARS-CoV-2. While not exactly the same virus as SARS-CoV-1, it is genetically related to it and shares 79% of its genome. As the name SARS-CoV-2 implies, they both use the same host cell receptor, which is what viruses use to gain entry into the cell and infect the victim. The Virology Journal, the official publication of Dr. Fauci's National Institute of Health, published what is now a blockbuster article on August 22nd, 2005 under the heading, get ready for this, quote, chloroquine is a potent inhibitor of SARS coronavirus infection and spread. Emphasis mine throughout, so he made the bold here in the text. Write the researchers, quote, we report that chloroquine has strong antiviral effects on SARS-CoV infection on primate cells. These inhibitory effects are observed when the cells are treated with the drug either before or after exposure to the virus, suggesting both prophylactic and therapeutic advantage, end quote. This means, of course, that Dr. Fauci has known for 15 years that chloroquine and its milder derivative hydroxychloroquine will not only treat a current case of coronavirus, therapeutic, but prevent future cases, prophylactic. So HCQ functions... What?
No, it's prophylactic, but it was fun. Prophylactic is fun.
Prophylactic, okay. So HCQ functions as both a cure and a vaccine. In other words, it's a wonder drug or coronavirus. It's a wonder drug for coronavirus. Yeah, a little itchy there. Said Dr. Fauci's NIH in 2005, quote, concentrations of 10, what is that, mu? Is that you're the science guy, is that mu? Okay.
I'm not looking what you're looking at.
Somebody in the chat will correct me on that. Completely abolishes SARS-CoV infection. Fauci researchers added, chloroquine can effectively reduce the establishment of infections and spread of SARS-CoV. Dr. Didier Raoult, the Anthony Fauci of France, had such spectacular success using HCQ to treat victims of SARS-CoV-2 that he said way back in February 25th that, quote, it's game over for coronavirus. He and the team of researchers reported that the use of HCQ administered with both azithromycin and zinc cured 79 of 80 patients with only rare and minor adverse events. In conclusion, the researchers write, quote, we confirm the efficacy of hydroxychloroquine associated with azithromycin in the treatment of COVID-19 and its potential effectiveness in the early impairment of contagiousness. The highly publicized... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say that's azithromycin, colloquially named Z-Pak for anybody who's had bronchitis or strep or something.
Right.
But yeah, this is interesting. And I just got to say, Guns, it's been a while since we've heard any mainstream news about hydroxychloroquine. Of course, last month that was the hot new thing. But then, that we just saw layers and layers and layers of mainstream stifling of that, of even just the possibility that it was going to work. And of course, at the time, we had doctors all over the world saying that it was working. And this is just a very interesting thing to have unearthed, that Fauci himself was hailing the benefits of HCQ, as it's called, against other coronaviruses back in 2005, 15 years ago. That's crazy.
Yep. The highly publicized VA study that purported to show HCQ was ineffective showed nothing of the sort. HCQ wasn't administered until the patients were virtually on their deathbeds, when research indicates it should be prescribed as soon as symptoms are apparent. Plus, HCQ was administered without azithromycin. Did I say that right? And zinc.
Azithromycin.
Myosin?
Yeah.
Myosin? Okay. I don't like science words. Which, because it's mycin, but it's myosin. All right, whatever. Which form the cocktail that makes it supremely effective. At-risk individuals need to receive the HCQ cocktail at the first sign of the symptoms. But Governor Andrew Cuomo banned the use of HCQ in the entire state of New York on March 6th. The Democrat governors of Nevada and Michigan soon followed suit, and by March 28th, the whole country was under incarceration in place fatwas. Nothing happened with regard to the use of HCQ in the U.S. until March 20th, when President Trump put his foot down and insisted that the FDA consider authorizing HCQ for off-label use to treat SARS-CoV-2. On March 23rd, Dr. Vladimir Zelenko reported that he had treated around 500 coronavirus patients with HCQ and had seen an astonishing 100% success rate. That's not the anecdotal evidence Dr. Fauci sneers at, but actual research with real patients in clinical settings. Quote, since last Thursday, my team has treated approximately 350 patients in Kiryas Joel, and another 150 patients in other areas of New York with the above regimen. On this group and the information provided to me by affiliated medical teams, we have had 0 deaths, 0 hospitalizations, and 0 intubations. In addition, I have not heard of any negative side effects other than approximately 10% of patients with temporary nausea and diarrhea. Hey, if you're going to die of this virus thing, a little diarrhea might be worth your while. For 10% of you that have it. Said Dr. Zelenko, I'll just end after this quote here. If you scale this nationally, the economy will rebound much quicker. The country will open again. And let me tell you a very important point. This treatment costs about $20. That's very important because you can scale that nationally. If every treatment costs $20,000, that's not so good. And all I'm doing is repurposing old available drugs, which we know their safety profiles, and using them in a unique combination in an outpatient setting. So, yeah, as we had suspected, Basil, a lot of this has been overblown. A lot of this was propaganda. A lot of this had to do with the crashing economy and the changes in the guard in terms of the technology and all that kind of stuff. The virus itself was not really a thing. What do you think?
Not really a thing? What are you talking about?
I don't know. You know what I think. You know what I think about this whole thing. You think the same thing.
Well, the point of this article is talking about the hydroxychloroquine thing. I think the biggest point for me is that we stopped hearing about it altogether as soon as Gilead started rolling out remdesivir, again, which is a patented medication, which you get $1,000 per. And I think in the context of this article, specifically talking about how hydroxychloroquine is affordable and could be scaled on a national level. The problem is remdesivir at that expense is not affordable. Now, I will say it came out a few days ago, I believe, that Gilead claims that they are donating. I can't remember if it was $1 million worth or 1 million doses worth of remdesivir to help out the situation. Now, that being said, they're not really. I mean, they may be donating it, but believe me, they're getting kickbacks. They're not doing it for free. At a corporation at that level, even if they're giving $1 million to charity, it's not just $1 million to charity. They're doing it as a PR stunt because they're getting kickbacks from someone somewhere.
Yeah, it's all about the money, it seems like, because especially with a lot of the big pharma, they have a lot of power, and they have a lot of influence. And so, of course, they don't want an effective treatment to be out there that's going to be cheap,
That's right.
We got a couple super chats in here. We got Carol White, pair character lifting some weights, saying keep it up. I think that's a description of the what's it called? Little stickers. And also Emil B 2010. Thank you for your super chat as well. So appreciate that.
Emojis, guns.
Are they called emojis?
And what in the hillbilly heck said a while ago in the chat? Don't worry, I saw you, hillbilly. She says when the COVID-19 jingle is playing, it's dangerous to be layering lasagna. I don't know exactly what that means or what happened, hillbilly. I hope you're okay. I hope your lasagna makes it through, and I hope that doesn't mean something else that I'm not aware of.
Spray some HCQ on that lasagna. You'll be fine.
There you go. HCQ. All right. I'm looking at the chat, seeing if I'm missing anything. Doesn't look like it. So I'm going to take the moment to pop over to the Twitch real quick, refresh the follower list. Let's see who we got new. And just so everybody knows, we are over here at twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. It's the best place to watch the show. And we're hoping to keep an average consistent viewership of 75 viewers, which, considering the amount of people watching right now all over the internet, we need a handful of you guys to go do that. Everybody should be doing that. And some new people doing that at the top of the list here. Objectivity does exist.
All right.
Thank you very much. We got Smiley Sky. We got GL made it. Thanks, GL. You made it. We got Amelia Dawn following over there. We got Otrebron. 1, 2, 3.
Cool.
HSL playing. And okay, I'm just gonna jump around for a second. We got hashtag fun sized following over on Twitch. And Mars Simba. Thank you guys for following over on Twitch. Last one, standing 29, popping into the chat. Thank you as well. Okay, we are going to be calling more Twitch users out as they come through. If I missed you, just pop it into the chat there so I know to get you back. Gons, I want to take a moment here in the middle to thank some Patreon supporters.
Oh, okay.
As well. Yeah. So again, hey, we operate on the value for value model here at Canary Cry News Talk. And here's the thing: we put out the product, we give it to you for free, and if you gain value from it, it's your turn to turn around and put some value back in. We're going to trade value. That's how we are in this new economic system. We don't believe in advertising, although some listeners have made it very clear that they would rather listen to an ad for Swiffer WetJet than hear me talk about Twitch or Patreon one more time. I'm sorry. Yeah. I cannot bend the knee. I do not negotiate with terrorists. We do not play ads on the show. So in that case, I'm going going to head over to our Patreon, which is patreon.com/CCNT for Canary Cry News Talk. There, you can sign up to support at a bunch of different levels. There's fun rewards. There's bonus episodes. I think there's like over 100 hours worth of bonus episodes over there. And just want to give a big ol' thank you. I don't think we did Patreon shout outs last episode.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm trying to send the
I don't
link
think-
in chat, and for some reason, I don't think my chat is working in terms of me sending stuff. But people are still.
Well, I'm going to first give a shout out to an upgraded pledge by Jessica. Thank you, Jessica. A brand new pledge from Ishmael.
Thank you, Ishmael.
Thank you, Ishmael. We got a nice pledge from Kyle. And a nice pledge from Jesus Loves Truthers.
All right.
I don't know if we gave them a shout out last episode, but if we did, they get 2. That's what you get for supporting us over on Patreon. And here's the thing, folks. That's the way it is right now. We are putting out the show, and if you find value, if this is your first episode, if this is your 10th, if you've listened to almost 200 episodes of Canary Cry News Talk, consider giving back into the show. That keeps us going and gives Gons and I the time to read through all these articles for you.
It's crazy that we're almost at 200 episodes. That's nuts.
I'm loving it. We're cranking through.
If you go back to the beginning, we didn't have jingles. I mean, like, this thing has evolved in the 200 episodes. The live stream now, I mean, it's a whole different thing than when we started. So
yeah, you'll notice that as you listen back through the podcast feed, the changes in the show. You can watch the evolution of the show. Very fun. But I want to let everybody know that if you don't like Patreon and you want to find some other way to help the show out, you can go to canarycryradio.com/support.
And here it is.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. And at canarycryradio.com/support, there's all sorts of other ways to help out the show. There's PayPal, there's recurring donations, or if commitment's not your thing, you can make a one-time donation, which was very helpful for when people did that to help me upgrade the internet. I'm very happy about that. So there you go, everybody. There's just some of the ways that you can help keep this show going. We're going 3 days a week right now, folks. This is a brand new world. And Gons, speaking of keeping the world moving here, I want to talk about Salon Lady.
Salon Lady.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
Are you going to talk about it?
You're not going to play the COVID jingle. You're tired of the COVID people.
COVID.
There it is. Woo! Okay. We all know Salon Lady. This is the lady in Dallas who is keeping her salon open despite orders not to do so. We're reading from DallasNews.com here. Dallas salon owner jailed for reopening in violation of court order.
What?
Oh, no.
I need
A
the
Dallas
salon
salon owner will spend a week in jail after she was found in contempt of court Tuesday for violating an order to close her salon during the coronavirus pandemic. In addition, Shelley Luther was fined $7,000 for continuing to operate her business, Salon a la Mode.
Ooh.
Salon on ice cream.
With ice cream.
In violation of a judge's temporary restraining order issued against the business. Luther was taken into custody immediately after the hearing and booked into the Dallas County Jail just after 4:30 p.m. Like other businesses deemed non-essential, Luther's Far North Dallas salon was forced to close March 22nd after the county enacted its stay-at-home order. She reopened the salon April 24th despite that order and tore up a cease and desist letter from County Judge Clay Jenkins at a demonstration the next day. The temporary restraining order was signed April 28th by State District Judge Eric Moye, but Luther continued to operate the business. In a hearing broadcast live on YouTube on Tuesday, wow, they broadcast the hearing live on YouTube.
Yeah, I watched part of it. I watched part of it. It was
They need to
really
get over on
bizarre.
Twitch.
Get on Twitch. Yeah, maybe they need to get the memo.
Yeah. Luther said she had no choice but to open her business. She said she hadn't earned income since the county's stay-at-home order was set in March. She applied for one of the federal loans aimed at helping small businesses, but didn't receive it until Sunday, she testified. Quote, I couldn't feed my family and my stylist couldn't feed their families, Luther testified, holding a phone to her face from the witness stand so the court reporter could hear her through a mask. Whoa, that's weird. Okay. Yep. Before issuing this ruling, Moye gave Luther an opportunity to apologize and promised not to reopen her salon until she was allowed to do so, saying he would consider levying only a fine in lieu of the incarceration which you've demonstrated you have so clearly earned. That sounds like a Texas judge.
Yeah. Well.
Luther, however, defended her actions to the very end. Quote, feeding my kids is not selfish, she told Moye. If you think the law is more important than kids getting fed, then please go ahead with your decision, but I'm not going to shut the salon. Minutes earlier, Governor Greg Abbott, who announced during a news conference that barbershops and salons across Texas could reopen Friday. Luther's attorney, Warren Norred, expressed disappointment in the judge's ruling as well as the timing of the governor's decision, saying Abbott could have acted sooner to allow salons to open. Norred also said he was frustrated at how some businesses were deemed essential while others were not. Abbott, quote, could have swept all this aside and said, whatever your occupancy is of your facility, take it to 25%. Norred said Tuesday evening, quote, that that gets the churches, that gets the salons, that gets the grocery stores, it gets the restaurant, it gets everybody, and it would have done the job. During Tuesday's hearing, Norred and Luther argued that the salon operated with safe protocols, blah, 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 blah. So there you go. That's it continues, but it's nothing interesting there. So yeah, you saw this salon lady. She was becoming quite the revolutionary over there in Texas, and she finally got she had a chance to apologize, but she took the jail time instead. This really does, this is some martyrdom here going on here. She was not afraid to take the sentence, and especially since Governor Abbott said that she could be open just recently. I don't think we've seen the end of this story. I think there's going to be some very interesting things continuing with this.
First off, a few episodes ago, we talked about how the astrologers were really into 2020 because the celestial alignments were the same as it was during the Protestant Reformation back in the 16th century. So I find it, the only thing I can think of the whole time is her last name is Luther. Really? Interesting.
Okay.
But there was another second part of the story. I notice these things, Basil. You know how my brain works. I notice these little patterns.
You're connecting the dots, man.
Connecting dots, man. Okay, but there is a second story here. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton calls for immediate release of jailed Dallas salon owner Shelley Luther. And just real quickly, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has called for the immediate release of the Dallas salon owner who was arrested and sent to jail for opening her business in defiance of Governor Greg Abbott's stay-at-home orders. And let me just read the quote here. No, hey, video. I don't need you, video. Go away. Is there a click to... Nope. Okay. Quote, I find it outrageous...
They just forced you to watch this video.
Yeah, it's not playing, luckily, but... Quote, I find it outrageous and out of touch that during this national pandemic, a judge in a county that actually released hardened criminals for fear of contracting COVID-19 would jail a mother for operating her hair salon in an attempt to put food on her family's table, said Attorney General Paxton. The trial judge did not need to lock up Shelley Luther. His order is a shameful abuse of judicial discretion, which seems like another political stunt in Dallas. He should release Miss Luther immediately. And there you go. So there's a call out. I don't know if this is going to be effective, but hopefully, this was today, so hopefully she doesn't have to stay in there for too long. But
yeah, so she's getting officials coming to her rescue, but I mean, really, this is ridiculous. Texas is such an interesting place. We have so many Texas listeners. What's up to all our Texas listeners? What's up? Um, there's plenty of Texas listeners who have offered to take me in when the real apocalypse happens and I hit the road. So I'll see you in Texas when it all goes down. But Texas is a weird place, man, because obviously there's a bunch of, people who aren't buying it. Like this lady opening up her salon, and apparently the AG also, defending her. But this judge is an example of someone who's on the other side. I mean, Texas is kind of a purple state now. Of course, places like Austin, which have basically been overrun by Californians.
That's what I'm saying.
Since
just started leaking out.
They're exodusing from California, even though they, we actually talked about this in depth. The exodus from California being an export of not just political ideas and sort of social temperaments, but also sort of a spiritual export.
Yeah.
We won't get into that again, but it's in one of the past episodes. If somebody remembers what episode that is, throw it in the chat for us. There you go. Texas, very interesting place for these sorts of back and forths to be going down. And I wouldn't have it any other way, Guns.
Really? You wouldn't?
I'd rather it be going down in Texas. It's more entertaining to watch it happen in Texas.
Well, hopefully just all the nonsense just gets, shot down. Literally. Which kind of leads us into this next story, which is still a COVID story, but it's a little more deadly.
COVID. It will kill.
Real quick, Gons, I want to give a shout out to Smiley Sky, one of the new Twitch watchers. They are from Austria, Innsbruck, Austria. Cool.
All right.
Our listeners in Austria.
Very cool. Probably laughing at us Americans over here. This is NBCnews.com.
The hills are alive. Sorry.
It's okay. Researcher on verge. Wait, what? Oh, yes. Researcher on verge of making very significant coronavirus findings shot to death. The Pennsylvania researcher, quote, was on the verge of making very significant findings towards understanding the cellular mechanisms that underlie COVID-19, his university said. And there's a picture of the guy. Bing Liu, 37, a researcher at the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine, was found dead Saturday inside a home in Ross Township, north of Pittsburgh. The Allegheny, am I saying that right? Allegheny County Medical Examiner said. He had been shot in the head and the neck, the agency said. An hour after Liu's body was discovered, a second person, Hao Gu, 46, was found dead inside a car less than a mile away, the agency said. Ross Township Police Detective Sergeant Brian Colhip told NBC News that the men knew each other. Investigators believe Gu killed Liu before returning to his car, where he died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Police believe the deaths occurred on Saturday after a lengthy dispute regarding an intimate partner, according to the Ross Police Department Wednesday. We have found zero evidence that this tragic event had anything to do with employment at the University of Pittsburgh, any work being conducted at the University of Pittsburgh, and the current health crisis affecting the United States and the world, police said. The investigation has been forwarded to federal authorities because neither of the men were U.S. citizens. Liu, who earned a PhD in computational science from the National University of Singapore, worked as a postdoctoral fellow at Carnegie Mellon University before becoming a research associate at the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine. In a statement, the University of Pittsburgh described him as an excellent mentor and prolific researcher who had co-authored more than 30 papers. His work focused on systems biology. Quote, Bing was on the verge of making very significant findings towards understanding the cellular mechanisms that underlie SARS-CoV-2 infection and the cellular basis of the following complications, the school said. We will make an effort to complete what he started in an effort to pay homage to his scientific excellence. So, of course, you got a lot of people on the social medias saying, "Hey, what are the odds? The guy who would, is looking for a cure or looking for a way to
not even looking for a cure,
found,
making big strides. I mean, that's the thing. Just to review, if anybody needs a review of what Gons just read, there was a China. Well, he's from Singapore. Singapore and China. Where's Singapore?
Singapore. Oh my gosh. It's its own. It's its own.
Oh my! Google it. Somebody, where's Singapore?
Oh gosh, it's its own.
I want to be sure.
Yes.
Yeah, it is like its own thing, isn't it?
It's its own country. Yeah, go ahead.
It's like China adjacent.
Sure. Okay, are you Googling it in your VR headset?
No, I can't. That's why I'm asking you to do it, or somebody in the chat. I know, in that area with China and Hong Kong and a lot of those surrounding nations, there's a lot of disputed.
It's the Republic of Singapore. It's its own. Yeah, it's its own place,
okay.
Man. Yeah.
All right. So we've got these Singaporean scientists, or one scientist who is on the verge of making a big discovery with coronavirus, just happens to get shot in the head and the neck, as he's breaking out with his big science. And then they find what they are claiming is his murderer, who shot himself in his car about a block away or something like that. I don't know about this.
I just started laughing because Adam42 on Twitch said Singapore is in Texas.
Singapore is in Texas. Smiley Sky, our Austrian, saying Malaysia. Okay.
It's in between Malaysia. It's in between Malaysia and Indonesia. A little spot there.
Ah, gotcha. Oh, and Bill Gates official is back watching Twitch.
Oh,
so
there you go.
Thanks, Bill. Let us know if we get anything right. So yeah, no, I don't know, man. This screams of conspiracy to me.
Yeah, there was a tweet. This is a screenshot I'm showing on the screen for those watching. For those who are just listening, there's a tweet by someone. I don't really want to read their handle there, but the tweet was sent out on April 2nd, 2020, and the tweet reads, "Doctors at UPMC Pittsburgh have released today they found a COVID cure and are submitting it for FDA approval and safety testing. So how much do we want to bet one or more will mysteriously die?" and then in May 4th, of course, this...
They mysteriously died.
Mysteriously died. Yep. So
wow.
Predictions and fulfillment. Wow.
We got to put these two. We got to put these two links side by side, in the show notes, so people have that they can share with their friends.
Yeah. Exactly. That tweet and then the actual article headline, just so people know.
Yeah. Let's make sure to do that. And just so everybody knows, you can go to canarycrynewstalk.com, and every episode comes with a bunch of show notes. If you're looking for a link to an article of something we read, if you're looking for videos that we play on the show, whatever it is, you can head over to canarycrynewstalk.com. Show notes for every single show. And, it's also a good idea for you to just, start your own little document and copy and paste these show notes. It's a great way to continue doing research, to have sort of a research catalog, that you can keep looking through. A lot of people have found that helpful in the past. So I passed that on to our listeners today.
Yes, and some people saying the links should be in the description. That's on YouTube. And yes, you're right, but it's just another step that we would have to go through before going live, and there's already like a million steps. So someone wants to do it for us, be our guest. But until then,
there you go.
Just go to canarycrynewstalk.com to get the links. They're all hyperlinked here. I was trying to show how they work here. Just all from the last episode, they're all hyperlinked.
Yeah.
But there you go. Yeah, I mean, this is obviously... we're going to be suspicious of this whole thing, and it's not a surprise that something like this would go down, and it's not a surprise that they would vehemently deny it. There's no connection that we can find. Well, of course.
I know. So funny too that they even say it. Like the fact that they're even having to say that just screams the opposite. So
yeah.
thanks, law enforcement. Let's do one more. Let's do one more here, and then we'll talk about some stuff.
Talk about some stuff. What's the jingle for this one? I'm trying to find it because I thought I had it, but I don't, I guess. Hold on. What are we doing?
Man.
What are we doing? Oh.
We're doing the
All right.
Facebook story.
Mind control research intensifies.
There we go.
Yeah, that's right. NBCnews.com. Facebook names 20 people to its Supreme Court for content moderation. Now, we talked about this when it first happened, I think 2018.
Yep.
And they already tried this once before, but got a ton of backlash. I mean, I don't have the notes in front of us here, but we did a whole segment on it back when it happened. And the members of this Facebook Supreme Court, it was very fishy. So they canned the whole thing, but they just rebooted it because of everything going on here. The NBCnews.com, the article reads, Facebook on Wednesday appointed 20 people from around the world to serve on what will effectively be the social media network's Supreme Court for speech, issuing rulings on what kind of posts will be allowed and what should be taken down. The list includes 9 law professors, a Nobel Peace Prize laureate from Yemen, a journalist, free speech advocates, and a writer from the Libertarian Cato Institute.
There's the cat.
Absent, however, was any prominent expert in studying disinformation. Facebook has struggled to contain state-based manipulation efforts, as well as hoaxes on subjects like false cures and gun violence. Oh my gosh. I lost
cat
my
always
spot. Here we go.
attacks you.
The cat has very sharp claws and makes it hard. All right. Helle Thorning-Schmidt, a former prime minister of Denmark and one of 4 co-chairs of the board, said they would consider such expertise in recruiting more members. Okay, so keep in mind, we have professors, we have journalists, we have Nobel Peace Prize laureates, and we have former prime ministers of Denmark all on this Supreme Court. Quote, we have tried to consider all communities and also people who have been critical of Facebook in the past, she said. The number of members will rise to 40 over time. Now, listen to this. The Oversight Board is more than 2 years in the making. Its creation prompted by CEO Mark Zuckerberg, who said in 2018 that he wanted to create some sort of structure, almost like a Supreme Court, for users to get a final judgment call on what is acceptable speech and relieve the company's executives of having to decide. So this is Zuckerberg's, he's just trying to get some things off of his plate here. Social media networks dating back to MySpace have struggled to write rule books that are easy to understand and consistently enforceable, and yet cover the varied material that people try to post online. The rules, including Facebook's community standards, have evolved to prohibit not only illegal images, such as child pornography, but also hate speech, harassment, and most recently, false information about the coronavirus pandemic. The questions often become political footballs, as lawmakers in Washington and elsewhere have turned their fire on Zuckerberg when they believe they or their supporters are being unfairly censored. The creation of Facebook's oversight board is designed to effectively hand the last word over to the expert panel, possibly taking Zuckerberg and other Facebook executives out of the picture on writing speech rules and sparing them having to answer questions from users, lawmakers, and journalists. But one of the co-chairs, former federal judge Michael McConnell, said he expected the board to have a steep learning curve. Okay, so keep track here. We have a former federal judge. We have a former prime minister of Denmark. We've got a Nobel laureate. Really high-end people here. We are not the internet police, McConnell said. Don't think of us as a sort of fast action group that's going to swoop in and deal with rapidly moving problems. That's not our job. The job, he added, was to hear appeals of decisions that Facebook has already made.
Oh.
The board's decisions will be binding unless implementation would violate the law, Facebook said. The decisions will also apply to Facebook-owned Instagram, but not initially to WhatsApp, where content is generally encrypted. Membership on the board is, now keep that in mind, but not initially to WhatsApp. WhatsApp is a messaging, it's a text messaging application.
Supposed to be peer-to-peer, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's where within using WhatsApp peer-to-peer messaging would you crack down on violations of people just chatting? I mean, it's not a publicly viewable thing. Anyways, Facebook is taking steps to try to make the board independent, creating 130 million trust to pay for its operation and pledging that it cannot remove members from the board. Facebook will refer cases to the board for its consideration when the company considers them significant and difficult, and Facebook users will be able to suggest cases through an online portal. And that right there is going to be their downfall, Gons, because basically you have a group of elite level people, Nobel laureates, former federal judges, former prime minister of Denmark, and basically their job is to sit around and decide if a Facebook post that got deleted should be put back up or not. I mean, what a wild job for these people to be doing.
Well,
and especially now that they're saying they have an online portal where Facebook users will be able to suggest cases. This is going to be out of control. You're going to have all these elite people. That I'm guaranteeing you that online portal is going to be clogged up with memes. It's going to be clogged up.
Oh, they're just going to troll.
It's going to be troll central, man. It's going to be crazy. And these people who are formerly in elite positions, this is not going to last. I don't know what Facebook is paying them. Apparently, it's a lot because they set aside 130 million for it. But if you were formerly the prime minister of Denmark and now your job is to sit around and decide if somebody's Facebook post should be taken down or not, that is wild.
Well, Facebook with the power trip, there was a couple years ago in Age of Deceit 3, I had this theory about the four beasts, the lion, bear, and leopard. And traditionally, people have thought that there's countries, and I said that's definitely possible. There's good evidence, historically with commentary on that. But as we look forward into the future, how do things look? And there's less of a nation-state thing and more of like a corporate technocracy type of thing building. And this fits right into that mold of like, hey, we're gonna have our own Supreme Court, and Facebook's working on their Libra. We're gonna be a bank. So it's just this overreach of and arrogance, really, of Facebook trying to be everything. We're going to govern. We're going to have, you're going to use our money. We're going to know all of your text messages, and we're going to make sure that you guys are safe. But it's just like, my goodness. I wish I had that I'm not capable of hatred clip on hand. My data clip that's my way of making fun of Mark Zuckerberg. But anyway,
I am looking at the list of people on this board, and it's crazy. I mean, it's just a crazy list of elite academics, elite political figures, activists, all sorts of stuff. I have a hard time believing that this is going to last very long. These people are going to realize that they have better things to do. Facebook probably made them an offer they couldn't refuse because of all the heat that Facebook gets for not, policing their people well. But these people took the money, and they're going to be really sad about it.
I have a clip of Zuckerberg. No, it's not Zuckerberg, but apropos.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
There you go. All right, Guns, before we move on and start winding the show down here, I wanted to thank everybody who's watching right now on the live stream. We do these live streams, Lord willing and the creek don't rise, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. People have been asking me for a schedule, and just so you know, the schedule is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, sometime between noon and 5 is
Pacific
when we'll
time.
start.
Noon and 5 Pacific time.
Good. Yes, good thinking.
'Cause we,
Pacific
yeah.
time, sometime between noon and 5. That's the best window we can give you, because we got lives. We got lives. We got to
live.
Deal with.
We have to
Yes,
live lives.
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
We have
All right,
lives
I want to
that
give.
yeah.
I want to give some shout outs to new Twitch followers. If you're watching live anywhere on the internet, head over to twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. Just so you know, we're trying to get our average Twitch viewers up to 75, which should be easy. So if you're over there, you're thinking, hey, let's help these guys out. I don't want to give them any money, so I'm going to watch them on Twitch because that helps them out. Gons, starting to round out our really, I mean, we have got some of the best Twitch viewers. We got Susan Wojcicki, CEO of YouTube, who watches us on Twitch. We got Bill Gates official who watches us on Twitch. And we got a brand new follower, Gons, the real Pope Francis.
Oh my gosh, the
real
group grows.
Pope Francis. I know. I am loving this so much. We got to keep rounding this out. Hopefully Elon Musk will follow us. Hopefully let's get Mark Zuckerberg to follow us over there. Jeff Bezos.
We're going to have the best audience. We're going to have the best high-level elite technocrat audience that any show has ever had.
That's what we're shooting for. So remember, folks, you're sitting there on your YouTube channel, your YouTube account that you made years ago, and you didn't make a very good name, and you're kind of sad about that. Now's your chance. Head twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. You get to make a new identity for yourself. And the real Pope Francis answered the call. So thank you very much, real Pope Francis. We've got Truth Hunger. Miss Valerie 85, Grimothy Porter, and those are the new ones I have on the list right now. And remember, some people they become our friends. They ask to become our friends. Oh yeah, we've got 5 new friend requests. Remember, it's you gotta also follow us. Click follow on the channel. But those who wanted to be our friends here, we got Jenny B83, we got Padusagi, Eat Real Meat is now our friend. Arabel Reveres, something. Thank you. And then What in the Hillbilly Hack? Thanks for being our friend. Okay, so there you go. And let's see if there's any new Patreon supporters in the past 30 minutes here. Yeah, baby. We got a new Patreon supporter during the show, so a big ol' extra shout out to Cam. Thank you very much, Cam.
Thank you.
If anybody out there is watching live, you want to join the Patreon at patreon.com/CCNT, we'll give you a shout out on the show. So thank you very much to Cam. Okay, anything else you want to talk about before we jump right back into this?
Let's go back in. Let's do it.
Okay. Let's dive back in.
Let's trigger the flat earthers.
Space. Oh, no. Space. Wanna go to space?
Are you going to do it or am I going to do it? I'll do it.
I did the last one.
CNET.com. White House drafting Artemis Accords for moon mining, report says. Moon mining. And we're not talking about Bitcoin going to the moon. We're talking about Trump going to the moon and mining, I don't know, Nazi relics or something? I don't know. The White House
Nazi artifacts.
The White House is drafting a legal blueprint for mining on the moon under the U.S.-sponsored international agreement called the Artemis Accord. Reuters reported Wednesday. Named after NASA's Artemis moon mission, the Artemis Accords propose safety zones that would surround future moon bases to prevent damage or interference from other nations or companies, Reuters reported. It also lays out a framework allowing companies to own the resources they mine under international law, according to the report. News of the accords follows that an April executive order from the Trump administration, which called on world leaders to join forces to extract the natural resources of the moon, paving the way for NASA to return astronauts to the surface of the moon as part of the Artemis program. The mission hopes to bring humans to the moon again in 2024 for the first time since 1972. U.S. officials plan to negotiate the Artemis Accords with space partners like Canada, Japan, European countries, and the United Arab...
Space partners!
Space partners.
I want some space partners.
And
Howdy, space partner.
The United Arab Emirates, Reuters reported, though Russia is a major partner with NASA on the International Space Station, it will not be an early partner in the Accords. We want our own missions, said Putin. No, I just added that part. The White House didn't immediately respond to a request for comment. So there you go. I mean, if you want to be triggered, one thing though, they keep pushing back the moon, like we're going back to the moon thing. But now they have like a legit excuse. It's not just like, oh, we're just gonna go back. It's, hey, we're gonna go dig, we're gonna go mine for resources because obviously.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, you point out a really important part of this, which is there is no reason to go to the moon. I mean, whether or not we've been there already and just magically lost the tapes and magically lost the technology. Ability. I mean, that's a whole other conversation, of course, that we've been talking about for years.
Yeah.
But this is just, I mean, if you want to get anybody to go to the moon, it's got to be commercially viable. There's no reason to do it. You know, nobody, it's the last moon landing, brought everybody together for what, like a decade before people started tearing it apart and not caring and getting into wars again.
Allegedly.
The only reason to go to the moon, and this is very Trumpian, would be to mine. It's gotta be a business proposition, man.
You know what's funny is, before this is all over, I remember, you know what, maybe it was Mars, but I remember Alex Jones, like very early on during the whole Trump campaign, and he was like, they're gonna put statues of Trump on the moon, on the Mars, and all that kind of stuff. they're gonna do it, man. They're gonna say they're gonna put a statue of Trump on the moon. I'm already hearing
if the moon exists.
The moon exists, but if we're able to really get there. Or, maybe they're getting ready to produce the greatest movie of all time.
I was going to say.
Part 2.
Could have put out a documentary, say we did it, and then, there you go. I actually, fun fact, I took out the telescope last night. It was a very bright night, and the moon was big and full, and there were very little clouds. Busted out the telescope last night. Got a close-up look at that baby again.
Did you?
Been a while since I'd done that.
Did you see anything interesting? Any UFOs? Any?
I was keeping an eye out for those the cigar-shaped UFOs that had been spotted recently. I'm saying, man, it's my turn to see something weird up there.
Yeah, well, keep an eye on the moon there with your giant telescope.
I'll be keeping an eye on it for everybody.
Yep. And I did try to tee you up with the movie thing, the greatest movie of all time, but I guess we can try it
Good
again.
Job. You did it.
Space.
Wanna go to space?
Want to go to space? Here we are, geekwire.com. Some more space news here at the last half of the show here. NASA confirms it's working with Tom Cruise and SpaceX to make a movie on space station.
They're making it on the space station? So Tom Cruise is going to go to space?
NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine has confirmed in a tweet that the space agency is working with movie star Tom Cruise on a project that involves shooting a film on the International Space Station.
Nice.
Dun, dun, dun. Deadline Hollywood reported on Monday that a space movie project involving NASA and SpaceX is in the works, but that, quote, no studio is in the mix at this stage. Bridenstine followed up with a tweet saying that NASA was excited to be working with Cruise and explaining that we need popular media to inspire a generation of engineers and scientists to make NASA's ambitious plans a reality. SpaceX is currently focusing focusing on preparations for its first ever crewed mission, a demonstration flight to the International Space Station that makes use of the company's Crew Dragon capsule. If the movie deal comes together, Cruise could to take a Crew Dragon flight, holy smokes, to the station under NASA's recently...
Not so geeky with the grammar.
I know. NASA's recently established commercialization rules. Oh, I don't know this. Let's look at that. Though it'd be more fun to put him aboard the yet-to-be-launched Starship super spaceship. Cruise isn't the first performer said to be interested in spaceflight for professional purposes. Others who have considered in-space performance projects so far without success include film director James Cameron, of course, and a variety of singers, including Lance Bass.
Right.
Sarah Brightman and Lady Gaga, of course. We need Lady Gaga up there to defend Joe Biden. So there you go, Guns. They're claiming they're going to shoot a movie, an actual Hollywood film up on the space station, which I think a lot of people could argue has been happening the whole time.
Yep, the giant train that keeps going round and round on the firmament there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that'll be interesting. We'll keep an eye on that. Oh, I was going to look at
this
link for.
Yeah, let me pull it up.
Okay, here we go. This is from last year, however.
Well, that's fine. There was the commercialization rules.
NASA finally gets down to the business of commercializing space station operations. Okay,
because they don't
laid out its initial batch of ground rules for the future commercial activities. Yeah, okay. I don't know. I don't know if this is as interesting as we thought it was going to be.
It's just a thing.
But they just, laying down the ground rules, baby. No launching movie stars out the airlock. Keep the secret projector screens outside a secret from any individuals who might blow the lid off the whole operation. That sort of thing, the usual.
Yeah, you got to be in the elite to even be considered to be a part of these operations. You can't. That's normies. Not allowed. Not allowed to see the firmament. Okay. Last story here.
Nephilim update.
This is technadu.com. Nephilim could soon fill the gap left by NEMT's termination. This is a little technical. And
what is this?
This publication, I looked it up real quick before we read it. Let me tell you about it because that way it's a little bit more clear here. This TechNadu is leading edge tech reporting since 2016, and basically it's it's kind of a techie news outlet. So just keep that in mind when I read this because it might sound kind of confusing, but I think you'll get the drift here. Only about 3 weeks ago, we reported on the closure of the NEMT project, at least as far as its RAAS, ransomware as a service operations are concerned. So this is concerning ransomware. The authors of the successful strain decided to go private and hunt bigger fish, while they shared the source code of NEMT with a selection of individuals who reportedly spewed Nephilim. A Sentinel Labs report tries to shed light on the new strain, how it works, what encryption protocols it uses, and how much NEMT does it have at its core. Nephilim first appeared in March 2020, and initially it shared much of NEMT's code without significant changes. The primary method of delivery is through vulnerable RDP services. The encryption is done through AES 128 using the RSA 2048 key, and the extension of the encrypted files carries the name of the strain itself. The main difference from NEMT is the lack of a RAS operation, although this may be a matter of time. Another point of differentiation is the fact that Nephilim isn't using a Tor-based payment portal, but instead prompts its victims to reach out via email communication. From Nephilim came Nephilim, which is almost the same ransomware strain, so technically the researchers are treating them as a single entity. After looking deeper into the code, the analysts have found that the authors of Nephilim find enjoyment in the embedding of insulting messages aimed at well-intended researchers. Although Nephilim is so young, it has quickly grown in popularity by being one of the ransomware families that don't only encrypt files of the infected system, but also but it also steals them. So far, the Nephilim group has published portions of data belonging to large oil and gas firms, as well as entities engaging in the engineering and construction services and the apparel and fashion field. So,
oh my gosh.
yeah, there's a little screenshot there of some some extra messages hidden in the code for anybody doing the research and trying to dig into what this Nephilim code is. That said, Nephilim.
Yeah. So what is this? Some new ransomware or something that we
it's
haven't
a new
seen before?
It's a new strain of ransomware. So it says that said, Nephilim is another data breaching headache that can't be dealt with backups or decryptors alone. These threats are better stopped at the entrance, so defending the network perimeter would be the best approach for prevention. Nephilim received the code of Nempty, a powerful ransomware strain, and so it could start doing business right away. We don't know if the group behind the new ransomware is interested in launching a ROS platform or not, but from the first steps, it doesn't seem like they are going for it. So from the genetic giants to ransomware stealing information from companies, Nephilim is a whole code thing now.
Nephilim update. Yeah. Nephilim update. Nephilim update. Is a whole code thing now. There you go. Finally, a Nephilim update that isn't about Nephilim coming down to help us defeat, I don't know, evil or God or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nephilim.
Yeah, taking over Yahweh.
Now
merging
they're just
with us.
ransomwaring the elites. That's always nice. Okay, everybody, we're gonna start settling down. Start landing this plane here. I want to thank everybody who is here watching live on the internet, and especially those watching live over on twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. I think we might have done it, Gons. I don't know. I'll wait for the final numbers to come in on our stream report, but I think we may have hit 75 average on this show. So thank you guys so much, everybody over on Twitch. And here's the thing. We are a value for value show. That means we put the show out. We provide some value to you. And if you get value out of it, ball's in your court, baby. It's your turn to help us out in one way or another. One of the great ways you can help us out is by producing some material for the show. You can, if you're out there, you are a musician, you know how to use some software, or you just got a fun, iPhone app or something, you can put together some jingles for us. If there's something on the show that you like, if there's a segment, or if there's something that we call out, we're still looking for a jingle for canarycryradio.com/crypto. So there you go. Our last producer to come in was Rich, and we're gonna play his new Rattle Some Cages song that he made us. We'll be playing that at the end of the show, so make sure to stay around for that, because that's gonna be the best part of the show. But also, if you have not done it yet, remember that we have been doing this show in podcast form for almost 10 years. So we got a ton of episodes out there for you to listen to. You can search any podcast catcher for Canary Cry Radio or Canary Cry News Talk. Those are two different shows, but they are both up to snuff and there to catch you up on everything going on in the world, from fringy stuff to new stuff. It's all over the place, folks. You're going to love it. And while you're at it, listening to the podcast version, make sure to leave a rating and a review. That is super important. If you leave ratings and reviews on iTunes or Stitcher or Spotify, wherever you're listening, ratings and reviews tell other people, well, they tell the robots to show the show to other people. So that's a great way to spread the show. And another great way to do it is just send an episode to your friend, post it on your Facebook wall, do something to help spread the word about Canary Cry News Talk, Canary Cry Radio, all that sorts of stuff. Fun stuff, Gons, fun stuff. Are you back on Facebook yet, or are you still taking your hiatus?
Yeah, I think I'm still deactivated, but no rush to get back. There's no time limit, right? I can come back whenever.
I have no idea, but, it wouldn't be the end of the world if you didn't make it back, so that's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah. All right. Now, Here's another thing, folks. We are, like I mentioned, value for value. We are supported by listeners just like you. We've been doing it for years, and the listeners keep coming. So we are so thankful for our generous pledges over on patreon.com/CCNT. You got a couple more minutes here to pledge, and if you do it during the show, I'll give you a shout out. But we've got all sorts of fun rewards over there. There's merch. There's, I don't know, there are bonus episodes, all sorts of great stuff that we provide to our patrons. It just takes a couple bucks a month to show that you care and want to put value back into the system. So you can go to patreon.com/CCNT. But if you don't like Patreon, that's okay. You can go to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. Over there at canarycryradio.com/support, you got PayPal, you got all sorts of fun ways to support the show, cryptocurrency, fun stuff. And we know some people don't like Patreon, so we have that option for you there. And if commitment's not your thing, if you're not into pledging a couple bucks a month, you can always make a one-time donation over there as well. And that helps us out enormously. Remember, during these times, we are your essential employees, folks. So if you're sitting there thinking, oh, somebody will help them out, usually that's not the case. You're sitting there, you got a couple bucks, you want to at least help the show, propagate the show. Why don't you head over and help us out? It means a lot. Just the fact that people take the time to click through and make a donation. This is what Gons and I have right now to support ourselves. I didn't get a stimulus check. Did you get one, Gons?
I think for the kids something came in, but it was, whatever. It wasn't much.
Yeah. I never got my stimulus check, so so I need to rely on other people's stimulus checks. But we're going to keep doing the show, folks, 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, sometime between noon and 5 Pacific Standard Time. Make sure to tune in next time, which will be Friday. We'll always see. The Friday shows can be a little shaky, but we're going to be going for it. And I think that's it. One of the most important things you got to remember, folks, is if you still got friends and family who are getting their news from the mainstream, they're getting it from their Facebook wall, you got to walk right up to them, grab them by the cage, and shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up.
Oh, that was the wrong one.
Nope.
Oh, no. I totally messed up
gosh.
because I replaced our normal jingle from the thing.
Okay.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
Yeah, that's right, folks. Remember to rattle a few cages. Let people know where to go. Gons, we had Blessed Fringe over on Twitch asks, can you guys get a Venmo? Is that something we can do? Can we get a Venmo?
We can probably figure out a Venmo. And
let's figure out a Venmo.
I just want to shout out to the one. There were 2 people, but now there's 1 person on D Live watching. So shout out to the D Live.
D Live, good job. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. And remember, we'll be here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, sometime between noon and 5. You just gotta catch us. So make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
Where's the kitty?
He's gone. Okay, now we can play the second one.
We will. Just give it a second.
I'm not going to give it a second.
And melt those babies into candles.
I tried to tell you.
Stop this progress before it is too
shake things up, shake things up. I want to shake things up, shake things up.
Leave the bird alone.
I want to stir up some controversy. I want to rattle a few cages. I want to rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Little guy. Little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.